guys, welcome back to April Reads May TBR. I'm gonna go through my physical books first because they are right here next to me. And I finished the Throne of Glass series this month. When I started Tower of Dawn, I did not think I was gonna like this as much as I ended up liking it. But especially like once I've finished it and have looked back, I don't know, I don't want to say like the lack of trauma in this book is what I really liked, but this one didn't leave me like emotionally devastated in a bad way, kind of like some of the others have. I'm gonna say Empire of Storms is still my favorite of the series, but I also really loved Kingdom of Ash. However, I will say the first 200 pages pretty much being like torture, I guess. Not my cup of tea. And I'm not a tab your books reader, but I did tab one section in this book, and it's when Aedion is talking to Evangeline and he says, "This fear of yours means something you have worth fighting. You have something worth fighting for. You care so greatly for that losing it is the worst thing you can imagine. They have nothing to fight for. Because of that, we can overcome our fear. For our friends and our family, for those we love, we rise above that fear." And I just thought that whole like paragraph and, you know, him talking to her was just beautiful. So really, really great ending to this series. I am very, 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 very sad it's over though, which is why I put off reading Kingdom of Ash so long. I read Tower of Dawn towards the beginning of the month, and then I read Kingdom of Ash at the end of the month because I just didn't want it to be over. But yeah, woo, this is a long book too. And I read 12 books this month. So, okay, next I read 3 books in the Heated Rivalry series. I changed up the order that I read them because I saw someone on TikTok talking about the order to read them in if you want to read them like chronologically. So I started with Heated Rivalry, and then I read Game Changer, and then I did The Long Game. These two, the writing, if you are going into this wanting, how do I put this nicely? The writing is not fantastic. The show, a million times better, in my opinion. Both of these are, I was telling someone about them, like 90% spice, 10% the rest, especially this one. I don't know how these two have any like connection other than, you know, that one. I don't know. The show definitely gives more depth and levels to their relationship than this book does, but that is just my opinion. However, The Long Game, devastating. This is so much better, so much better. And a lot of this is from Ilya's point of view, and yeah, I loved this. This was the best one. I've read 2 more, but I read those in May, so you'll have to wait for my thoughts on those. But this one was amazing and makes me so excited for season 2 of the show. But it also did make me very sad, and I cried. All right, keeping with the sports romance theme, the next book I read, these aren't really in order, I'm just kind of going down the list, was In Her Own League, Liz, Tom Fordy, I don't know. But this is kind of a spinoff of the Windy City series, which I really enjoyed. But this is Miller's dad, Monty, and Reese Remington, who is the new owner of the baseball team that I can't remember the name of. The Windy City Warriors, maybe? I think. Something like that. I don't know. But it's Emmett and Reese are the main characters. Reese, I love her. badass. Emmett, Monty, whatever, has taken a top spot on my book boyfriend list. I love him so much. And I like the fact that they're both a little bit older. They're not in their 20s. Emmett's in his 40s, Monty, whatever. Again, same person. And I want to say Reese is in her 30s. So 2 thumbs up for In Her Own League. All right, then I had a DNF, my second one of the year, I think. Second DNF of 2026 was Evie Drake Starts Over. My God, this was boring. So boring. If you want a like romance book that doesn't have a lot of spice and is for the more mature relationship type of person, not that these characters are like old, but there's not a lot of like drama, I guess. But yeah, I was so bored. I was just so bored. I couldn't keep reading it. I was bored. And she definitely, the main character, makes sure to tell you that her name is Evie. It's not Evie, which, okay, fair. That's cool. But yeah, so boring. I could not finish it. Then we have Everyone in This Bank is a Thief, which is the 4th book in the Ernest Cunningham series. I personally love these. I think these are hilarious and witty. This one was a little bit different. Ernest and Juliet were kind of involved in a bank robbery. And I didn't see the ending coming, which actually, like kind of as I'm going through, maybe a little bit, but there is one part of this book in particular that had me rolling. And it was when they'd been taken hostage, and the thief or whatever asks for their wallets, and this kid like whips out a black Velcro wallet, and Ernest says there's just something financially insecure about a black Velcro wallet. And it was hilarious because it's so true. So that one was fun. I enjoyed that. Next, I read a nonfiction book. Surprise, surprise. The Tragedy of True Crime by John J. Lennon, not the Beatle John Lennon. This, I ended up giving it 4 stars. I actually have a lot of thoughts on this book. I really don't even know where to start. I think it's kind of ironic that he's writing a book that says true crime is so tragic, but yet he's writing a book about true crime. It was really interesting, like reading. It's based on 4 different stories. His, and then 3 other men who he's met in prison, and it kind of like goes through their timeline, their crime, their life, their crime, their timeline in prison, etc. And they're all in the New York prison system. So it was really interesting. I just found it kind of ironic. And there were a couple of other like comments that were made. I didn't write them all down. I don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting concept. More sports romance. I finished the Off Campus series. So I read books 2, 3, and 4. And so that was John Logan's book, Dean's book, and Tucker's book. Dean and Allie's book was the best by far. And that one was The Score. And yeah, that was my favorite book of the series. I really liked it. These are pretty spicy, so just, you know, be aware of that. My current read that I started in April, it is May 4th. I'm still working on it. I'm about halfway through, is So Old, So Young by Grant Gender. So far, it's okay. I'll give you my final thoughts in May when I go through those books, but I am anxious to finish it so then I can read The Celebrants by Stephen Rowley and see how similar they are, because just from reading like the synopsis, they sound very similar, which I think is interesting. So I'll keep you posted on that. But for May, what do we have on deck for May? Okay, we have Common Goal and Tough Guy from the Heated Rivalry Game Changers series. Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. Speak to Me of Home by Janine Cummins. Happy Ending, Chloe Leese, I don't know. And then I would also like to finish the Emily Wilde series. So I have, what, 7 books? 8 on the list. So that should be pretty doable, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, let me know what you're reading. I'm really interested. And if you want to see any of this in short form, I probably should have said this earlier, but I also post reading vlogs on TikTok. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next month.